Do you want to slash through enemies as if they have no armor? Do you want to become Genji, but his shurikens can go through walls and track down enemies? Well, fear not, in this video we will be talking about my Ash Prime Armor Eater build. And I know, it's a pretty goofy name, but we'll just have to bear with it, I guess. If you want to see the build right now, then be sure to refer to the timestamp displayed on your screen right now. So yeah, let's get started. This video will be significantly more simpler and also quite short compared to other builds because I will be only talking about Ash's Shuriken ability, where when you press 1 or whatever key you have binded it to, it will throw out these two shurikens which can deal guaranteed slash damage. You cannot increase the number of shurikens thrown at once. However, you can increase the casting speed so that you can keep spamming the Shuriken ability over and over again, plus in a faster speed. So let's take a look at the build and why this build is so special. This is my Ash Prime Zero Forma Armor Eater build. If you have all maxed out mods, you will need another Forma, preferably a D polarity, because narrow-minded needs all those Ds to never mind. So yeah, let's take a look at the mod setup. Now what's going on with all these mods is that it's built around the augment called Seeking Shuriken. This augment will allow your shurikens to strip off 70% of armor from an enemy. This number can also be increased by just adding more power strength. If you have 145% power strength, your shurikens can remove 100% of an enemy's armor. Nothing more, nothing less, unless your shurikens go through a wall which may not remove their armor. So just keep that in mind. So coming back to the build, let's talk about the power duration mods. We have Primed Continuity, Narrow-Minded and Augur Message. These three mods are going to grant you 270% plus power duration if you have all maxed out mods. But still, this is a very overkill amount of power duration, and the reason why we need this much is because we can keep the enemy's armor at 0% for a long time. Of course, using Seeking Shuriken does not permanently remove an enemy's armor, but only for a period of time. Also, by having this much, the enemies will have 0% armor for 21 seconds, give or take. Next, we have the Power Strength mods. We are only going to use a Normal, Regular Intensify and Power Drift. This is going to give us a very nice 45% increase in power strength. It is more than enough to remove 100% of armor from an enemy. And then we have Streamline, which is going to help you to cast Shuriken more efficiently without taking up too much energy. Some of you may think that 17.5 energy for 2 Shurikens might be a lot, so you can replace Augur Message with a rank 3 Fleeting Expertise, and keep in mind it has to be rank 3 because if you have a rank 5 Fleeting Expertise, you are going to take away too much power duration from the build. If you decide to walk down this path, then you will definitely need one more Forma because it's definitely not going to fit. And then we have Primed Flow, which is going to increase your maximum energy pool. You can also replace Primed Flow with Fleeting Expertise, but it's not recommended. And then we have Gladiator Resolve, which is going to increase your HP. That's pretty much it. If you have a few more Gladiator mods on your weapons, for example Gladiator Rush and Gladiator Vice, you are going to make use of that set mod bonus, which is actually very similar to Blood Rush, which will increase critical chance based on your combo multiplier, which is kinda great because you have like buffs upon buffs, increasing your overall DPS by a lot. And then finally we have the Steel Charge Aura. The reason why the Aura slot is still kept as a V polarity is because you can easily swap out Steel Charge for Pistol Amp or Rifle Amp. You can always Forma it and then add in another aura of your choice. But I've gone with Steel Charge is because it will work very nicely with a weapon that is already powerful. For example, the Reaper Prime or the Orthos Prime, the Nikana Prime, or any other melee 3.0 weapons that are up to meta. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory because the aura choice is always a personal preference thing. It's not a must to go with this, it's not a must to go with that. Just pick one of your choice. Now let's talk about the arcanes. It's very recommended to use an arcane that can buff your damage. For example, Arcane Fury to increase your melee damage, Arcane Rage for primary weapons, or Arcane Precision for secondary weapons. Because when you have stripped off the enemy's armor, you might need a little bit more damage to get that sweet 1000 or 100,000 plus damage, and then you know you can one-shot the enemy straight away. But of course, there are some situations where you definitely need a few more shots to get rid of the enemy, which is why these arcanes will come into play. Of course, it is definitely not necessary to have these at all. You can just strip off the armor and then just use another weapon which is strong to get rid of the enemy. But these damage increasing arcanes is just going to make your work way more easier and more satisfying. And then the second arcane should be Arcane Energize, is because it can take care of your energy issues. Sometimes you might spam Shuriken too much, and as well as your smoke screen, you might run into some energy problems, which is why Arcane Energize and hopefully a maxed out Zeneric should do the job. And that's pretty much it for the build. Let's talk about the gameplay and the playstyle. It's actually very easy. First of all, go into a mission, press 2, spam 1, spam E or left click. That's it. Stay invisible all the time, try to use your shurikens on tough enemies, and yeah, that's all. That is basically the whole consensus of this build. So shall we take a look at some benchmarks? The usual victims again, which is going to be heavy gunners and bombards in a single test, and no corpus enemies because this build is specifically for taking out greenier enemies, especially the heavily armored ones. So let's take a look. And that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you everyone for watching. If you guys liked it, then be sure to leave a like, write a nice comment, and please consider subscribing. Be sure to follow my Twitter account for social media stuff, and if you want to support this channel, then be sure to check out my Patreon page in the link in the description below. Once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Goodbye.